So let us take a few interview viva basic question and answer in C language. First, let us see the C. That is, let us know about the C language. C is an important system implementation language. It was designed to be compiled using comparatively straightforward compiler to provide the low-level access to memory, and to provide language construct that map efficiently to the machine instructions and to need minimal runtime support. C, therefore, useful for many applications that were previously written in the assembly language. And C, though it has low-level capabilities, the language was designed to encourage the cross-platform programming also. A standard efficient and portably written C program can be compiled for a wide variety of diversity of computer programs or platforms OS with just few changes in its source code. And the language has become obtainable on a very wide range of platforms, from embedded microcontrollers to supercomputers. So let us see the following variable, that is, you have static int average is available in file C. Who can access it? This is a static integer available in a C file. Who can access it? The answer is all the functions in this file can access this variable, static variable. Next is, what will be the result of the following code? So this is hash defined true 0, and this is a code. So what will be the result of the following code? This is while true. Okay, consider this, that here you have while true. This, consider this to be here. So while true and the braces, what will be the result here? Can you guess the answer? Because this is always true, and true is 0, so it will never go inside. Is it? No. This will not go into the loop, as true is defined as 0, and while 0, that means this will never be condition will never be true, means true, but true is false, so this code will not be reached. Next is, what will be printed as the result of the operation below? X is 10, y is 15. Now please try to solve it and tell me the answer. Did you get the answer? See, first of all, without any complication, let us solve it. And it may be the answer, it may not be answer. But if there is any catch, I'll tell you. So x is equal to x plus plus. What is x? 10 plus plus. That is, x will be assigned what value? 10. Because this is the post increment operator. So x will have value as 10. This is a post increment, so it will be incremented afterwards. Now plus plus y, that is y is equal to plus plus y. Y is what? 15. So y will have value as 16. Then this is plus plus 15. So y will have 16. So y is 16 and x is 10 here. But let us see that x should present what? Okay, what has happened? X plus plus has already taken place. Though x has been assigned to x, but x plus plus is also taking place, and plus plus y is also taking place. So what will be the answer? The answer will be 11 and 16. Okay, at first go you'll be tempted to answer it 10 and 16, but it is not done, because x plus plus will take place. So x plus plus will be 11. Next is, what will be printed as a result of the operation below? This is the operation. Now please try to tell me what can be the answer. So if you have just thought that there is any catch, there is no catch, no complication, because a is 0, and if a is equal to 0, Cisco system and then Cisco system. So 2 lines will be printed. 2 lines with the Cisco systems will be printed. So no problem with that. What is inheritance? Inheritance. See, let me talk about your father. Your father has something. Say he has blue eyes. Then he has some money also. Say a land. You are his son. So what you have done, or what has happened to you? You have blue eyes. This you have inherited from the father, and he has land. So you have inherited this also. The property of father you have inherited. Now you have your own property also. You have a motorbike. Your father didn't have that. So you have motorbike, or say you have brown hairs. Your father had black hair. So brown say hair and motorbike. These are extra from your father, but you have 4 properties now. You have blue eyes, you have land, you have bike, and you have say brown hairs. This is inheritance. Now let us answer this in terms of C language or computer science. So inheritance allows one class to reuse the state and behavior of another class. See, your father was very emotional, you also became very emotional. So this is the state you have inherited, and the behavior also. This is the behavior. Emotional is a behavior. State is this. So the derived class inherits the properties and methods implementation of the base class and extends it by overriding methods and adding additional properties. These are your additional properties and methods. What is polymorphism? Polymorphism. Let me tell you about polymorphism. Poly means many. Morph means faces or shapes. So same name, different work. If this is the analogy we can adopt, then we can answer the polymorphism. Let us see in the computer science term. Polymorphism allows a client to treat different objects in the same way, even if they are created from different classes and exhibit different behaviors. So you can use implementation inheritance to achieve the polymorphism in languages like C++ and Java. Base class object pointers can invoke methods in the derived class object. You can also achieve polymorphism in C++ by function overloading and operator overloading. So actually polymorphism is implemented in C++. This is not a C question, C++, by two methods. One is function overloading and operator overloading. The polymorphism can be thought as the way in which you can delay the invocation or the execution of the method to the running time. At runtime, if you have say two function name as add, so at runtime it will decide which add to take. If it has one parameter, it will take this. If add is expecting two parameters, it will take this. So same name, but this will be delayed till the linking time. And polymorphism is implemented in C++ with function overloading and operator overloading. What is a constructor or a seater? See, constructor or seater is. Let me give you an example. Now you are going to office or say work. What you will do? You will take bath and you will place or put that wallet into your pocket or a mobile in your pocket. So this you do every time. What you do every time? Taking bath and putting this wallet in your pocket. You will do it always. So these are the things which are implicit. Constructor does exactly that. Initialization. So constructor creates an object and initializes it. Initialization and creation of an object done by constructor. It also creates vtable for virtual functions. It is different from other methods in a class. Even if you don't, you can also define your own constructor. That is, you can have user-defined constructor, but there will be a default constructor. If you don't make any constructor, there will be a constructor which will be made by C++ for you. Now what is destructor? Destructor is again the opposite of constructor. So destructor usually deletes an extra resources allocated by the object. So whenever an object closes, the destructor is a function that is invoked. What is the default constructor? As I just suggested, that even if you make a constructor, okay, user defined, you want to pass certain parameters for initialization. But even if you don't make any constructor, there is a function which is provided by C++ that will always be run. This is the default constructor. So constructor with no arguments or all the argument has default values is a default constructor. What is a copy constructor? Copy constructor. So what happens here? Constructor which initializes the its object memory variable by shallow copy. There are two types of copy: shallow copy, and one more is there, which is known as deep copy. Shallow copy, deep copy. So with another object of the same class. So if you don't implement one in your class, then the compiler implements it for you. Again, copy constructor is also available to you. If you have let me tell you, if you have object 1, then it has certain properties. Okay, you want object 2, you have object 2, you want to initialize object 2 with object 1. What all in object 1 is there, you want it to be copied to object 2. So what you do, you create object 1 of say boo, say class. So you create an object, then you copy. How you can copy object 1 property to object 2? You do it like this: boo object 2, and then you pass object 1 here. So this is calling of a constructor, and this is calling do copy constructor, BOO. Object 1 equal to object 2. This is calling just copy these are both the ways. This is the way, this is the way. Okay. When are copy constructors called? When are copy constructor called? Copy constructors are called in few cases. When a function returns an object that class by a value, copy constructor will be called. When the object of that class is passed by value as an argument to a function. When you construct an object based on another object of the same class, or when compiler generates a temporary object, copy constructor will be called. What is assignment operator? See why this question is, you represent assignment operator by single is equal to, and if you want to compare two values for equality, you take or you use this operator. So assignment operator, default assignment operator handles assigning one object to another of the same class, member to member, which is called as shallow copy. And even you can answer in another way, that the value of if you want to assign one value to another, you use this assignment operator. What is the difference between new operator and operator new? New operator new and operator new. This is a difference. There is a difference between a new and operator new. Operator new, this new, it works just like malloc. In C, we use malloc. Then you can also use for malloc, you can use new. In new, you don't have to give that size of thing. And malloc can be freed by free, but new operator needs to be followed by delete. What are all the implicit member functions of the class, or what are all the functions which compiler implement for us if we don't define one? Default constructor, copy constructor, assignment operator, default destructor, and address operator. These are all implicit member functions of the class. That is, these are all the functions which compiler implements for us if we even don't define it. What is a conversion constructor? Conversion constructor. Constructor with single argument makes that constructor as conversion constructor. And it can be used for type conversion. For example, you have a class, in this you have a constructor, because the name of the constructor will be exactly same as the class name. So if BOO is the class name, if you just define do in type, this will be a conversion constructor. So you can just now assign say 10 any value to this object, BOO object. Now, what is a conversion operator? We have just seen the conversion operator, but a class that can have public method for specific data type conversion, as we have seen. Now you have a class here, boom, and you have say you want to make an operator. Okay, so what you can do is you can assign object to a variable I. You are assigning an object variable I of type say double. So this is possible by this function. So this conversion operator gets called. This will be called, and this is an operator. This is a conversion operator. This will be called to assign the value. So this is the conversion operator. Now next is, what is the difference between malloc and free, new and delete? We have just seen the question earlier, that malloc is for, if you there are two ways of assigning the memory. One is static assignment or static memory allocation. The other is dynamic. Okay, we have dynamic memory allocation. So malloc, free, or new, delete, these are in pairs. If you dynamically allocate memory, it will be malloc followed by freeing of that memory by free. New is again for dynamically allocating the memory, and delete is for freeing that memory. So malloc allocates memory for object in heap. This is very important. It makes the memory in heap. Heap is the memory which is provided by you, by the system. For a program, there are certain memories. First of all, you have this code segment, that is for instruction, etc. Then for static and global variable, there is a place. Then you have stack, and then you have memory, heap. So this can grow depending upon the system. So malloc allocates memory for object in heap, but doesn't invoke object constructor to initialize the object. It doesn't do that. New allocate memory, and it also invokes constructor to initialize the object. This is a very important and to be memorized. Difference. Malloc allocate memory for object in heap. New also does that. But malloc doesn't invoke object constructor to initialize the object. And new allocates memory and also invokes a constructor to initialize the object. Malloc and free do not support object semantics, does not construct and destruct objects. Like this string ptr, we are making size of string. They are not safe, does not calculate size of the object that is construct. It returns pointer to void. Malloc returns pointer to void. But here see, you don't have to do this with new. No size of in new. Here it will malloc returns the void, but new doesn't. It will return the type of pointer or the data type which you are using. They are not extensible. New and delete cannot be overloaded in a class. New and delete you cannot overload in a class. Delete first calls the object's termination routine, that is its destructor, and then releases the space of object occupied in the heap memory. First destructor is called by new, and then heap memory is cleared. If an array of objects was created using new, then delete must be told that it is dealing with an array by preceding the name with an empty this square bracket. For example, if you have created say 10 memory location in heap by using new, you have to delete by saying that okay, this is square bracket. This square bracket will say that okay, you are deleting it, right? What is the difference between template and macro? Template and macro. Template is just a framework. Okay, this is done so that you can use it sometime. Macro is preprocessor. So there is no way for the compiler to verify that the macro parameters are of compatible types. The macro is expanded without any special type checking. Macro does not do any type checking. If macro parameter has post increment operator like C++, the increment is performed 2 times. Plus means it will perform it 2 times. And since macros are expanded by the preprocessor, as I said, it is by preprocessor. You define macro by hash. Compiler error message will refer to the expanded macro rather than the macro definition itself. Okay, it will refer to the expanded macro rather than macro definition itself. Macro will show up in expanded form during debugging. So macro is just a replacement of that code in your program. Like you have a macro, say define mini ij, I less than j. This is if an else form we call it as a ternary operator. And if you want to make a template, you can make a template like t min ti tj return ij, same thing. But now this template, this t is not known here. But when you use it in a program, so you can use any data type here. So to make a program or a code non-data type specific, this is a generic. You can use any data type when you are using this template. So T has given you that liberty to use it any way you want. What are C++ storage classes? There are 4 storage classes: auto, register, static, and external. So auto is the default. If you write int x, then auto is here. Even if you write auto, it doesn't matter. If you forget it, or if you are lazy enough not to write it, then also there is no problem. This is default. Variables are automatically created and initialized when they are defined and are destroyed at the end of the block containing their definition. So they are not visible outside the block. That is, they have automatic or auto scope. Register is this is a type of auto variable, but a suggestion to the compiler to use a CPU register for performance. A CPU, the compiler will expect or request for a CPU register, directly register. CPU has certain registers where actual execution operands and opcodes happen. So this is for fast accessing of performance enhancing register is. This is static. This is a variable that is known only in the function that contains its definition, but is never destroyed. This is very important. It is never destroyed. It's very written class to that function, because once you pass something to the function will have that scope. The variable will only here. Once you return it, the function which is calling will have certain variables where the scope is limited. But if you make static a variable I, it will be passed to I. Say you do I plus 2. So when it returns, it will say I is 0. Static variables are always initialized with 0 value. So you don't have to initialize it. It will be already initialized by 0. So static I will be 0. I plus 2 will happen in the function calling, and when it returns, it will be 2. It will retain its value. So they are never destroyed and retains its value between the function calls also. And it exists from the time the program begins execution. Then come the extend. What is this extern? Extern, this is very important to understand that it is also a static variable. It is a static variable whose definition and placement is determined when all object and library modules are combined to form the executable code file. So it can be visible outside the file also where it is defined. If you define extern, you can say this is file 1, this is file 2. If you have defined it here, you can access it in this file using extern. What are storage classifiers or qualifiers in C++? These are the storage classifier like const, volatile, mutable. Const is what? Const, this is the keyword which indicates that memory once initialized should not be altered by a program. You cannot alter it. Volatile means this is a keyword indicating that the value in the memory location can be altered even though nothing in the program code modifies the content. For example, if you have a pointer to a hardware location that contains the time, so where hardware changes the value of the pointer variable or not the program. So the intent of this keyword is to improve the optimization ability of the compiler. Mutable is what? Mutable keywords. This keyword indicates that that particular member of a structure or class can be altered even if a particular structure, variable, class or class member function is constant. So even if it is constant, you can mutate it. For example, if you have a structure, say data, and you have a name and a mutable double salary. So salary is mutable, which is a double data type. Now this is initialized by say compiler, const data, my struct Satish, and say 1000. You can easily see that if you want to copy it, if you want to copy a string copy to mystruct.name here, there will be a compiler error. You cannot do this. Why you cannot do this? Because this mystruct.salary is equal to 2000. This is a constant. You cannot assign Shilpa Shetty to mystruct.name. This will be error because this is a constant. But if you have made it as mutable, then you can assign 2000 to the salary. Though it should not allow it in normal terms. But since it is mutable, even the constant salary can be, because this is constant you have made. You can assign 2000 and there will be no problem. Compiler is happy. What is the reference? You are aware of this ampersand. So reference is the name that acts as an alias or an alternative name for previously defined variable or an object. So prepending or prefixing variable with ampersand symbol makes it as a reference. For example, what this A is or what this B is, we have made ampersand B as a reference. Okay. What you can do also is you can make a pointer P int and you can assign A address of A to this pointer. This is also the reference. What is passing by reference? Method of passing arguments to a function which takes parameter of type reference. This is what is happening. You have variable, say this is a function of swapping. So you want to swap 2 and 3. So you are sending A and B with a reference. Now you are referring A and B. So what exactly is happening here? That you are actually getting the values swapped after calling swap. Otherwise, if you don't use this reference, the value will not be swapped. This will be swapped only inside this function, not outside. If you want to print swap here A and B, this will always be 2 and 3. But if you use ampersand reference, this will be done. So basically inside the function, there won't be any copy of argument x and y. Instead, they refer to the original variables and A and B. So no extra memory needed to pass arguments and it is more efficient. There is a difference between passing by reference and passing by sending it by pointers. Pointer is something different. You're actually referring or giving that location address. Though you use this ampersand only, but no, there you are using pointer, that is the addresses. Here you are just referring. What happens when you call by value? You have say this x and y. You pass x and y. Don't use this. So when you are passing x and y, a copy of A is what? 2. B is 3. So copy of A will go here. Copy of B will go here. So what will happen? No doubt that 2 and 3 will be swapped here. But since the copy has gone, actual 2 and 3 has not gone. When you print the value of A and B after swap, it will be 2 and 3 only. A will have 2 and 3. Once you do it by passing the reference or say by pointer, the value will be actually changed 3, 2. Because in the first case reference you are referring to A and B. In the second case you are actually referring to the memory location where A and B is stored. So these are a few questions on C and C++. We'll be taking more on this. Till then, thank you so much. Take care.